A new statewide survey finds nearly 1 in 3 Texans spend a high share of their income just keeping the lights on, sometimes they have to choose between paying their power bill or paying for food and medicine. That's among the takeaways from the latest Texas Trends survey from the University of Houston and Texas Southern University, focused on household energy burdens. Here to walk us through the details and what they might tell policymakers is one of the lead authors of the report, Gail Buttorff, Associate Director of the Center for Public Policy at the UH Hobby School of Public Affairs. Gail, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Let's start with some of the key findings themselves. Here is a stat that jumped out to me. Nearly 45% of respondents reported paying more than $200 a month for electricity. I believe this was over the summer months.
Correct.
I thought my bill was bad. That's pretty bad.
Right. Yes. Over $200, which is above the average monthly summer bill for Texas. And again, we were asking people about how much they were spending during the summer because that's likely when their electricity usage is the highest in Texas.
A third of those who responded in this report spending 7% or more of their income. That's considered a high energy burden. Why?
Correct. So the energy burden is the percentage of your income, your total gross household income that you spend on energy. Here, and that can include electricity, gas, and other fuels, wood, and so on. Here, we're just specifically looking at electricity. And the energy burden is if you're spending 6% or more on energy costs, because this is just one part of citizens' monthly bills, right? You have rent or mortgage payments, credit cards, other potential debts, and so spending 6% or more is considered a high burden household, right? And we have 33%, about a third of Texans spending more than 7% of their household income on summer electricity.
If that's a high burden, what's a low burden? What should we roughly be paying in terms of the percentage of our income towards something like electricity?
So that's a great question. I don't have a specific answer to that, but we do see, of course, higher income households are spending on average in the U.S. around 2% of their monthly household income on energy compared to the 6% on average for low-income houses. So I think really, we're looking at around 2 or 3%.
21% of respondents report struggling to pay their energy bills at least 3 times in the past year. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say for most of them, those 3 times are bills that cover the summer months. 19% report having to choose between paying those bills and essentials like food or rent. Is this level of insecurity a new development?
No, it's definitely not new. But, sort of the wide or sort of a systematic characterization of energy burden is difficult to establish. So this survey gives us an important insight into how Texans are faring in terms of balancing energy costs, importantly in the summer, because it's not just about cooling your house, right? Having unsafe temperatures in your home can lead to, a spate of health issues, right? It can affect how you study, how you learn, and so this is important that all Texans can live comfortably during the summer.
You also found these burdens are more significant in Black and Latino households. How big is that divide?
Yes, so we found that about 2/5 of Texans have difficulty paying bills, and that can be you had difficulty, maybe once or twice in the last year, to maybe 7 or more times you were having difficulty paying your electricity bill. And then we also asked Texans about whether or not you had to make difficult choices, right? Did you have to forego paying for something else, like potentially medicine or rent or other commitments in order to pay your energy bill? And we did find that about 25% of Black respondents, 30% of Hispanic respondents said that they had to make those difficult choices of paying for electric or natural gas bills and paying for other necessities like food, medicine, and rent.
Is it clear why there's such a disparity for them?
I think the biggest issue is that we have Black and Hispanic households also tend to be more likely to be low income, right? We have that those racial differences in income and vulnerability, and they tend to be the more vulnerable households and tend to live in areas, right, which may have seen a lack of investment.
How does the age and quality of homes themselves impact Texans' exposure to high energy costs?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, of course, right, newer homes, right, tend, on average, to be more energy efficient, which can lower an individual's energy cost, especially in the summer, right? You have better insulation, better windows, so you're not losing as much of the air conditioning outside, right? And we found that low-income households tend to live in older homes or have less efficient homes. Or less efficient homes, which is going to, and that's one of the main ways you can try and make energy more affordable is energy efficiency in the home.
Ever since the winter freeze and the deadly outages in 2021, there's been renewed focus on how reliable the Texas electric grid is or isn't during extreme weather. Is that public perception of reliability reflected in your survey?
So we didn't ask about the reliability in this survey. We did do another survey directly after the storm, after the winter storm in 2021 that asked about perceptions of reliability, and of course it was fairly low. And we had another set of surveys about power outages last summer after the derecho and Hurricane Beryl.
In addition to other fees and discounts, our electric bills are made up of typically two big chunks. There's the charge for the amount of electricity we used for that month. Then there's how much the Public Utility Commission set in delivery charges to cover the costs utilities like CenterPoint Energy incur for maintaining and operating the grid. That can be made up of a fixed charge and a variable one, again, based on how much electricity we use, so we kind of get double billed. Does that reinforce to you that the more efficient our appliances are, our air conditioning, our light bulbs, all of it, the more of a real impact we can have on those month-to-month bills?
Yeah, I think investing in energy efficiency is huge, and having, especially for new buildings, new builds, new homes, right, either requiring a level of energy efficiency not only helps the homeowners, the renters, but will also help sort of reduce the strain on the overall electric grid. The other point about the fixed cost is, when we're looking at how can we make energy more affordable for all Texans, the fixed charges are the same, regardless of how much energy you're using or how much electricity you're consuming on a monthly basis. So therefore, you end up paying a higher rate per kilowatt hour if you're using less energy than those who would be using more. And so one way to address energy inequality and affordability is to adjust those fixed charges with like an inclining block rate program.
Let's get back to energy efficiency, though, for a minute, because I'm curious about the result of one question in your survey. You were asking whether respondents believe clean energy solutions could lower costs and improve efficiency. 39% said yes. It seemed like a pretty low number in light of what we were just talking about, just the pure practical nuts and bolts of how do you get your power bill down?
Yeah, we were surprised by this, that it was only about, 38%, as you said that it would help personal finances and improve energy efficiency. And we also had not only do we only have about 40% saying it would help both finances and energy efficiency, we had a high number of people that said, I don't know what clean energy solutions could do for me.
From a policy standpoint, what measures could make the biggest differences in reducing household energy burdens?
I think a lot of the policies we already have in some form at the state or national level can help. For example, I mentioned already the inclining block rates. There are other utility rate policies that can ease the energy burden, especially on low-income households, like having rates that are set according to the percentage of income. So you have percentage of income payment plans is another great tool to help reduce the energy burden. Now, of course, right, we have in place a federal policy, but it's unclear whether that will be fully funded and fully staffed to make it available to actually affect Americans struggling with energy burdens.
Gail Buttorff is Associate Director of the Center for Public Policy at the University of Houston's Hobby School for Public Affairs. Gail, thank you very much.
Thank you.